Why, hello there. Yes, I realize that for some reason that light is a little off center. Uh, Honestly, I have no clue why it's so much brighter than normal, considering the fact that nothing really changed much between this and last recording. But, it is whatever. I digress. I'm gonna get heavily affected by this because I'm painted. Um, so, I had an idea for a video, but I realized, I don't think I'm gonna like it. It was gonna be like like the four levels of ugliness. Um, I might still record it, see if y'all like it. But honestly, I'm now thinking that's probably a really stupid idea. Um, but instead, what I will do is make a video about a dumb idea like a really bad dumb video game idea that I had a while ago. Um, that I just never made into a short form video because of the fact that my phone sucks. Okay, and require me to delete some stuff, and I haven't gotten back to it. But I'm going more depth. It's a long form video with a video format. Unless you want to have views in your upcoming YouTuber, in which case I should probably be posting my shorts. Is that a cop car? Yeah, that's a cop car. Anyways, let me focus up real quick. So, what was this bad video game idea that I had? So, do y'all know Shonen Jump, or more importantly, Shonen Showdown? No, not Shonen Showdown. That's Steve Show. Shonen Forces? No, that's not. Jump Force. There it is. That game was so dumb. I always forget the name. Cause like Shonen Force sound dumb. Shonen Jump sound like it could be a game name, but that's the name of the company, so I know it's not that. So I always forget what it is. I know it has Jump in Jump Force. Um, but the other yes, now let me give you a short rundown of it. It was a anime fight. Uh, in the style of I would say a worse version of Budokai in Kanaishi, uh, or Sparking Zero because that's way easier for me to pronounce. It's kind of like that, but worse. But for a relevant example, that's definitely more closer. Like it is like every anime fighter game, for the most part. But jokes aside, for the actual one, I would say Demon Slayer or My Hero Two Justice, because that's also another game that they have. Um, But it's a like area anime fighter game where you have different anime characters from different series come together and fight. Um, and I thought of a really bad but funny idea. So, if you ever played the game or watched a video about it, you might be aware of one really crucial, just really crucial, very minuscule, tiny detail that they forgot about. Um, that it's not that big of a deal, but it is crucial to know for this premise. They will spoil you on like every manga series pretty much ever. Because you gotta keep in mind, not everyone reads every manga that ever been. Um, and one of their favorites was not Jump Force. One Piece. Like take for instance, spoiler warning. It is really old now, but I'm still gonna give a spoiler warning. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In the game, you see Sabo, who is a character that like maybe mentioned once 3 times skip, but you don't see him until Dressrosa, which is like but until the post time skip, and even then you don't see him until like around halfway through that arc. So just a tiny bit of a spoiler. Or Luffy special being if I recall correctly, another spoiler warning. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Snake Man, or like something in that era where it's a transformation that he get really late. Um, and like they would just spoil a lot of One Piece, but you know what they didn't. Well, granted, it's really old, but like take for instance, like Dragon Ball characters these are like super forms instead of like spoiler stuff. Um, but I was thinking about it, and I was like, it'd be really funny, right? What if we take that tiny itty bitty crucial yet not important detail about how they spoil the series and made that into the game premise. So essentially, Shonen Showdown, or honestly, a better fighting game in my opinion, or not in my opinion, better fighting game. Like let's say it's Shonen, the Shonen version of Super Smash Bros. Or it doesn't matter. It's a anime fighting, right? But here's the deal, right? To unlock the characters, you kind of have to fight them, right? No biggie. Um, Here's where it comes interesting. So like the base game have like a very one type of gameplay, but when you fight this character, you fight them in this format of which you're gonna have to fight them again. So like you fight them, you beat them in their format. So like let's say you're fighting a JoJo character, like JoJo, from part 3, I want to say, where they get stance, right? And you beat him in the fight. But in order to claim him as a character, you have to play essentially another game all the way through to that point. But what makes this feature unique is that one way I thought about it is like, oh, this base fight, you gotta fight them in their format. But I realized that in the original idea, it was like, no, you fight them like how you normally would. But the game is like, when you unlock them, you have to play a different game pretty much, right? So the premise is, you essentially you fight them normally, and then you have to go through their entire story up to the point that you meet them, in a different video game, right? So let's say you meet him, Jotaro, or Jojo from part 3, um, just before you meet Dio, right? You have to go through his entire, like, a video game, literally, like, different video game, all the way up to where he's about to meet Dio. But that's now where the fun part comes in. The part where I would say this become a bad game, outside how tedious that would be, is the fact that you only get his point of view. You don't get anyone else's point of view. You only get that character point of view. So, for understanding, let's just go with the one that I thought of when coming with this premise, right? One Piece. Imagine this, right? You fight Luffy as your first character you get, right? Outside of whatever custom character you have or whatever base character you have, right? You only fight him to the base story, right? But here's the thing. Imagine you have like no clue in the outside. You only know Luffy's story, right? So let's say later down the line you fight Zoro, right? And this is at Sabaody, right? You will only know his perspective from Sabaody. You won't ever know what Luffy doing. If you want to unlock new abilities, stronger abilities, like leveling up your character, you have to play their game more from their point of view only. So play like this, right? Once again, Luffy, you get him at the beginning of the game, right? But then, let's say towards the end of the game, you're like, okay, I really need, like, Luffy's like one of the highest level characters, but his moveset is straight buns. But you know that his story is not done yet, right? Or that you like only at the beginning of his story. You have to play through the rest of it to get his like other moveset. And for characters whose moveset aren't complete yet, because their series isn't over yet, they can just keep getting stronger. Like other characters, they might have a limit. The other ones are like infinite potential. They're like, oh well, One Piece not done yet, so Luffy might have like, I don't know, Gear 5, but then like he takes like, I don't know, Zoro Asura form is still at 2, so he call it Gear 3 times 3. Cause he's bad at math instead of 3 times 5 or something like that, right? Boom, even stronger, right? And I think this would be so fun, but also so, so fucking annoying. Cause like, imagine this, right? I will allow it to like, let's say you connect to a different game. Like, let's say you go from, because One Piece had other games. So let's say for another character, Goku, right? Let's say you go from this game, you just go to Sparking Zero, and you can just play that game, or you just connect your save files. Bada bing, bada boom, you're good. But I think what would be very annoying is you would never know the full story unless you go through every character, or at least every development character, and play their storyline to unlock their powers. And what makes it worse is that some of these characters are gonna be buns. Cause like I came on, right? Take for instance, um, One Piece, cause that's a really good example off the top of my head. I know a lot about it. Not too much, but know a decent amount about it. Like, take for instance, a character who I would say is a very crucial point of view to have, or like will be like, oh, this is important to have. It's like Blackbeard's, and he would be incredibly strong, no doubt. But like, imagine how buns it would be. That's why I'm like, dog, you would get hit once, and like you would just be in like the landing lag would be crazy for like a not bad move that lifts you up, just like stunned there for a good second, or like uh you know how people have iframes after you get hit once sometimes in fighting games? Your iframes would be so like that you would hate this character, but you need to have this character point of view. And then